Hello, how are you? Welcome to my platform. Excuse the lighting, it's late. Sometimes I get these videos in late. Um, Book two for this month, Hope on a Tightrope. Let's continue reading through it. 9/11. Never in the history of the nation have U.S. citizens felt so unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence, and hated for who they are. It was a new experience for many Americans. I've had many white brothers and sisters come up to me. You know, Brother West, they say, I just can't get over this sense of being hated like this. I reply, you don't say. Really? I say, my dear brother, to be a nigger in America for 400 years is to be unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence, and hated for who you are. We've got some experience that might be useful. We have some perspectives that might provide some insight. Now that America, in this particular sense, has become niggerized, what kinds of resources are available? Will Americans become courageously Socratic and self critical, or will they become self righteous? Will they become prophetic or vengeful? Let's look at certain moments in history when black folk had to respond with astonishing courage to the vicious form of niggerization called terrorism. One of the most courageous moments in American history took place in 1955. Very few people want to talk about it. In August 1955, Emmett Till was murdered by his fellow citizens, a victim of American terrorism, his body thrown into Mississippi's Tallahatchie River. Emmett Till's body was brought back to Chicago. The funeral resulted in the first major civil rights demonstration in the 1950s. It was 3 months before Rosa Parks sat down in order to stand up for justice in December 1955. 50,000 fellow citizens of all colors walked by to take a look at Emmett Till. His mother left the coffin open so that everyone could see. It was Robert's Temple Church of God in Christ where Mamie Till walked to the lectern. She looked over at her baby, whose head was 5 times the normal size, and she looked into the eyes of the black folk of Southside Chicago and into the eyes of America. Tears flowing, Socratic juices at work, she said, what? I don't have a minute to hate. I'm going to pursue justice for the rest of my life. What spiritual maturity, moral wisdom, care, and love went into that statement? It was rooted in something very deep. It was rooted in a decision to keep track of the humanity of the very people who had dehumanized her son. This was not some isolated occurrence. There was a tradition that produced Mamie Till. It took the questioning of dogma like white supremacy very seriously. My God, how profoundly courageous! Here's a grieving mother speaking on her son's behalf and speaking for the best of her tradition. Martin King's in the background. Fannie Lou Hamer's voice is there. A. Philip Randolph's voice is there. And many nameless and anonymous black leaders who knew they would have to deal with situations in which they were unsafe, unprotected, subject to random violence, and hated for who they were. Think of the courage of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when 4 young black girls in Birmingham became victims of American terrorism. It was the 16th Street Baptist Church on September 15, 1963. Brother Martin cried in public. He did not know what to say. He wondered if nonviolence was a hoax when people killed babies in Sunday school. He looked at the parents. Tears flowed again. What did he say? Somehow we need to muster the armors of love and justice. Now that's a courageous people at their best. When we try to specify the various forms and varieties of the courage to love, we really have to ask, love for what? When we talk about the courage to love, to think for oneself, it rests on the courage to love truth. The love of truth, wisdom, and justice is not the same as loving individual people. When you talk about the courage to love real people, there is certainly a truth in pain, sorrow, and grief. The truth is very different from the truth found in abstract theory. And that's from Hope on the Tightrope. And I want to thank you for supporting me. And until next time, please take care of your mind, take care of your body, and be safe.